Another powerful high-end GPU that outperforms the competition at a lower cost is the AMD Radeon RX 7900 XT. It has the same flaws as the 7900 XTX, but because of its somewhat lower power, these flaws stand out more. Regardless, this is a top-tier GPU that delivers performance comparable to an RTX 4080 for a far lower price. The 7900 XT is just around $150 less expensive than the XTX, with an MSRP in the US of only $899 and a lowest price in the UK of £859. Even while this is fantastic for those looking for one of the greatest graphics cards on the market at the lowest cost, we feel that the 7900 XT lacks a clear sense of identity. Even so, it effectively undercuts the RTX 4080, which has an MSRP of $1,199 but often costs a few hundred more on both sides of the Atlantic. If finances just cannot be stretched, the RX 7900 XT will upgrade an ordinary setup into one of the greatest gaming PCs imaginable. It's difficult to believe that someone purchasing a high-end GPU at this pricing couldn't and wouldn't want to save an additional $150. Because of this, it is more tougher to suggest the 7900 XT than the RX 7900 XTX. With one goal in mind, the AMD Radeon RX 7900 series was created, providing the most GPU performance attainable for less than $1,000. Or, to put it another way, to provide GPUs at a lower cost than NVIDIA's top-tier RTX 40 series GPUs without sacrificing performance. This is roughly the same packaging as the RX 7900 XTX, except that it weighs a little less. 3 fans keep the board cool on the bottom of the GPU. You have 2 DisplayPort slots, 1 HDMI port, and 1 USB-C port for communication. The same thing applied to the XTX, although once again, we would have loved to experiment with a second HDMI connection. Although it's not a huge issue, we believe it would have been a good addition to the competition, especially for the budget purchasers these GPUs draw who most likely can't afford 2 of the finest gaming displays on the market. RDNA 3 architecture is a feature that comes standard in AMD's GPUs of this generation, and it makes advantage of the company's expertise in chiplets to maximize power while minimizing cost. The board uses the AMD Radiance display engine, which is a major factor in the preference for display ports. With this functionality, greater maximum refresh rates at higher resolutions are basically possible. Ray accelerators help the 7900 XT perform better in ray tracing workloads even if RDNA 3 isn't as efficient as DLSS 3. When we look at benchmarking tests later, this is definitely noticeable, but it doesn't quite measure up to NVIDIA's most recent AI deep learning technology. Similar to how NVIDIA's software serves as the standard for many PC market components, AMD's drivers are virtually equally conclusive. You may adjust settings and performance across the board using the convenient profiles that come with the system. This card receives a somewhat more pronounced boost from AMD's super resolution than the XTX. Overall, AMD's software is something we appreciate, and while evaluating this GPU rather than the XTX, we found it to be more helpful. We didn't have to depend on software as much because of the higher power offered by that card, and we didn't notice it assisting as much. However, AMD is outperformed overall by NVIDIA's Lovelace architecture, DLSS 3, better ray tracing, and convincing software. We have 80 MB of second-generation AMD Infinity Cache on a 320-bit memory bus with the RX 7900 XT. The XTX has 96 MB on a 384-bit memory bus, which is a little bit more than this. The 7900 XT uses 20 gigabits per second GDDR6 memory as well. This provides 2,912 gigabytes per second of bandwidth in addition to 3,494.4 gigabyte per second for the XTX. The 20 gigabytes of RAM on the 7900 XT is somewhat less than the 24 gigabytes on the XTX. But when you contrast either with the 16GB of the RTX 4080, you can clearly see how very cheap they are. There is no avoiding the fact that the RX 7900 XT is inferior than the 7900 XTX. It obviously lacks the RTX 4090's power, which is designed for much more than just gaming. However, the XT continues to provide astounding 4K performance with superior frame rates. The performance-to-price ratio of AMD's 7900 series is quite amazing when you consider how much people have spent for RTX 3080 GPUs in previous years, which provide less advanced technology and comparable 4K performance. Without a doubt, they are among the most affordable GPUs available, so if you're considering an upgrade from the 30 series, you shouldn't disregard them. The RX 7900 XT delivered outstanding results in benchmark testing, attaining legendary numbers in 3D Mark and astoundingly high scores in Geekbench's GPU compute tests. Even while the 7900 XT's 4K performance is a notch behind that of the XTX, it is still impressive for a GPU priced under $1,000. Remember that these are the results using the 4K maximum settings. Now the million-dollar question is, should you buy the AMD Radeon RX 7900 XT? To be honest, it has been a little monotonous to write this review. When we evaluated the 7900 XTX last week, it had many of the same advantages, disadvantages, and warnings. An excellent GPU that we have no problem recommending is the RX 7900 XT. It offers strong performance at the most affordable price for a new generation GPU currently available. We really think it deserves praise for that. To be honest, we don't think this GPU has much of a personality that would make us choose it over the 7900 XTX, particularly given that the latter is just around $150 more expensive but provides far more consistent 4K frame rates. This is a terrific option if stock concerns arise, but if someone's budget can go a bit farther, it's difficult to suggest. In any case, it's unquestionably among the market's greatest value cards. However, the 7900 XTX is unquestionably the graphics card to get if you have the extra cash to spare. So guys, this was our complete review of AMD Radeon RX 7900 XT. Hope you found the video informative, and if you did, please give the video a big thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Thanks for watching, see you in the next video.